Good morning, Chitu ma'am, and thank you for taking out time and coming here. So this is the first edition of our interview with ODR experts such as yourself. Now, before I begin, I'd just like to give a brief introduction to everyone for you. Well, Chitu ma'am, I know you've been a pioneer in the world of ODR. Right from co-founding the Resolution Center with eBay and PayPal to developing Modria to developing now ICO, NCTDR, ICODR, in working on all these different big projects and now developing CREK and ODR.com. All of these are things that one looks up to. These are really inspiring movements to see. And for anyone who is in India who's looking to get into ODR, I think you're an inspiration to us all. So thank you very much for taking out time and coming here. Welcome. So
Thanks so much, Mohit, and my pleasure.
now, ma'am, today's interview, I want to talk a little bit about your experience and how your journey in ODR has been. I'm going to keep it as brief as possible. So, just with the first question, could you tell us more about your experience with Resolution Center?
Yeah, sure. So I think, if you looked at eBay itself, they were the first ones to implement online dispute resolution and at such a large scale. And way back, 20 years ago, and very, very, very successfully. There's a lot we learn. That is still, I think, that's such a strong history that, I think even currently, no one has surpassed that. We always talk about leaps and bounds in technology and everything, but everyone refers to something which happened 20 years ago, and you can have artificial intelligence, you can have everything, but nothing has surpassed that. It was a wonderful journey because we started off first because there was a problem. It was for e-commerce disputes. When you have disputes, how do you resolve it, and where do you resolve it? Everything is happening online. Jurisdictions and lots of things were there. So when we developed the first online dispute resolution systems over there, it had to take care of resolving large volumes of disputes, at the same time resolving it in such a way that it was amicable, people were happy. There was a lot in hand, and we had to use technology to automate most of the things. And I think everybody has heard about 60 million disputes a year, 90% automated. All of that was possible because of a lot of thinking which went into the systems design and how we develop these large systems. And many of the things which we did over there is what taught us a lot, right? About technology, about product management, about lots of things, and which we're still doing today. So I owe a lot to the Resolution Center, the experience it has taught me, and in the journey of online dispute resolution.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. So from what I'm hearing, one, it does resolve almost 60 million disputes every year, which 90% of them are automated. I'm guessing without any human intervention per se. And so when you were developing this, it was also, to think critically about the system design and not just using technology to automate some processes, but to think about it critically and how we can make the system easier with the use of technology. That's definitely very interesting. And I think we should be looking at something like that today as well. The next question I have about two things. So one, could you tell us a little bit about NCTDR? And then why you needed to develop ICODR?
Yeah, so NCTDR, National Center for Technology and Dispute Resolution, website is ODR.info, and that is the birthplace of online dispute resolution. So the father of online dispute resolution is Ethan Cash, and he was the director of NCTDR, and he brought about online dispute resolution, way back in the late 1990s. And he formed the National Center for Technology and Dispute Resolution with a vision that ODR is something which is going to solve most of our access to justice problems. So that's the birthplace. This was his vision. And what we did with NCTDR is, if you know that it was a concept, right? Online dispute resolution is a concept. He wanted it to actually, how do you have thought leadership over there? How do you develop online dispute resolution with a global thinking? And how Ethan did this was he brought in people from all around the globe who were in the field of online dispute resolution, thinking about online dispute resolution. We were not implementing it at that time, right? So all of us were just thinking about it. We were passionate about it. And in every nook and corner of the world, he brought them in. He made them fellows of National Center for Technology and Dispute Resolution. I'm one of them. I was probably one of the fortunate ones. And then, we started thinking about it from a global scale, learning from each other, how technology can help in this access to justice problem, and how online dispute resolution itself can make its presence felt in the global scenario, which he has achieved today. But that is what NCTDR is. It is all a fellowship, and it was more of a community, a global community, working for the cause of online dispute resolution, evangelizing ODR. So that's what NCTDR was. But what happened was, we were evangelizing, and we had, I think, a lot, 15 years just evangelizing. Nobody, could even understand it. Nobody was believing in it. But suddenly it all became a reality. Whole world was talking about it. Governments were talking about it. A lot of startup companies, everybody was talking about it. And then we thought, oh gosh, now it's a reality. So now you need some sort of a governance, some sort of a guidance for all the people. More and more people were coming in, right? To provide that. So where did they go? They can't come to NCTDR. They need to have like a membership organization where they all can be a part of it. And it can be service providers, it can be ODR companies, it can be academicians, it can be students. So let's bring them all under a membership organization where they can have, the guidance, where they can go to and learn more about online dispute resolution, and also tell about, what they've been doing. And that's when we formed ICODA, which is the International Council for Online Dispute Resolution, in 2017 at Paris, at the Paris ODR conference.
Got it. And I think I've also used and referred to ICODR manuals and guides when I've been, starting on my ODR journey as well. That's really wonderful for you to have set this whole infrastructure up for the, future generations to use and build upon. So next question, ma'am. We've talked about the Resolution Center, NCTDR, ICODA. Now, can you tell us a little bit more about your journey with CREK?
I think ODR is something where, it's going to be there with me till I die. And I'm so passionate about it. And coming into the field, very early on, seeing where it's grown, and plus, structuring it in a certain way. And also, companies, providing the technology for online dispute resolution, right? And so after Modria, and which was my previous startup, I was just like thinking, okay, Modria is done. Modria got acquired, and learned a lot from the experiences from eBay and PayPal, from Modria, and realized that technology is super expensive. So we are talking about online dispute resolution serving a purpose, which is access to justice. And here we are talking about technology, which is so expensive. So, it's not just like really relating to each other, right? So you had to have something which everybody could use, had to have something where people cannot think about, okay, I need to build this, or I need technologists. No, it should be as simple as Gmail for an email. It should be as simple as Zoom for a video conferencing. When you think about, you need to get an email, you need to get a video conferencing, what you're thinking about is, I'll go get Gmail. I'm not thinking about building an email platform. I'm not building a video conferencing system, right? I just go and get Zoom. So that's how it works. So I wanted online dispute resolution technology also to be available like that. So when anyone thinks about doing online dispute resolution, technology cannot be a barrier. The systems cannot be a barrier. They should just say, yes, we want to implement online dispute resolution. I'm an individual mediator. I'm an individual neutral. I have, a technology, which is, CREK ODR, which I can go to. Or let's say that I am an organization, I am a government, I don't have to go and look for anything else. Yes, this is where I will go, this is what I will need, I can just take it and I can use it. So that was the real vision of CREK ODR. And also, because this vision, as well as, really serving that purpose of what, ODR was formed. The founding fathers of online dispute resolution are Colin Rule and Ethan Cash. So I also decided that, I wanted to pay a tribute to them. I think I am here where I am because of them. So it was more of, a tribute to them. And so that's why the name CREK, CREK, Colin Rule, Ethan Cash.
So now, ma'am, if I understand correctly, CREK has also shifted on and moved on to something called ODR.com, right? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So ODR.com is, where we want all of, I think, the future developments on online dispute resolution for our company, which is Colin and myself now, where we want all of that to live in, right? And so we wanted to form online dispute resolution, ODR.com, and, put everything under that umbrella. And, CREK anyway is, the technology powering ODR.com. And so we're moving everything into ODR.com because that can be the global presence for all things online dispute resolution wants to achieve from a technology perspective. So that's what we've come up with ODR.com. And, CREK is the technology powering that.
Got it. That's definitely a very strong brand to have, ODR.com.
Yes.
I see the value in doing something like that. Working in so many different organizations, developing tech for so many years, how has the technology evolved from 2006 to 2023?
It's developed a lot, right? I think, we started off, before it was all C++, PHP. Then you have, and then it went on to Java, then Python. And now we're talking about AI tools. We're talking about so many things. Even your front end, you have React.js, you have Angular, you name it, every day, it's changing. Every year it's changing. The versions are changing. So even yesterday, our platform is built on a different version and we have to upgrade all the versions. When you upgrade all the versions, then again, another, that's also a difficulty, right? When you're upgrading. So technology changes every single time. And, we need to keep up with that. Also, there are new ways of us consuming technology. I don't think, before, I think everybody needed to code, but now it's not that anymore, right? There are a lot of things where, they just provide it to you and if you know how to use that tool, you don't even need to code. So it's become so simple, which is great because, the backends which are powering those tools, it's making it easier for all of us to play around with this technology, not having really to code with that. So with that, any layperson should be able to drag and drop, should be able to do whatever they want to without even knowing basic, programming language. That's where we are moving. And AI and the tools powering AI, right? We're just talking about ChatGPT, but there are many more which is going to come up because of ChatGPT, right? So how do we consume that? So all we need to know is how to consume it rather than, hey, what is underneath it? Or can I code it or whatever? So that promise is great because, we don't have to everybody becomes like a technologist and, technology should not be a barrier. To code or something, it should be as easy as writing something, correct? So, which is an exciting future.
Definitely. I think just in my experience, coding or working with technology was always intimidating because you're unaware of how it works, how do you build it. But watching a few videos about how to use or how to build a smaller version of customized chat GPT online and then actually doing it, opening up that terminal, copying, pasting those codes and just testing it how it works. I think that has really given me the confidence to get into developing technology also. And I really see the value. I see what you're saying, connecting to how things are developing today. Last question, ma'am. So with your extensive experience in online dispute resolution, what do you have, to say? What advice do you have for young professionals, both lawyers and non-lawyers who are getting into ODR today?
There's so much you guys can do. Do not think about replicating offline practices online. Do not go to those age-old methods. I think that is one of the follies of people in the legal system, right? We are always sticking on to how things are done, age-old methods and all of that. But we need to think out of the box. We need to think about solutions. We need to think about solutions for problems in a different way, right? How do we leverage technology for those type of solutions, for those type of problems? That's what you need to think about. Not about, just replicating, bringing, or digitalizing systems. See, that will happen. But, with online dispute resolution, the great thing and something which excited me way back in, 20 years ago was, the innovation part of it. What you can do, the systems design, that was exciting. If I just had to replicate these modules of what we're doing over here, no, efficiency. How do you bring in user experience, people-centric designs, as well as, the younger generation, the problems you're facing or the world you live in is completely different from what we are living in or what we lived in, and, the others before us as well, right? So what might have worked for us would not work for you. So you got to think about current ways of how you consume information, how you resolve that information, what you do. So, I think one thing for you guys is you got to stick with your generation. Think about, what you can do and how it's going to help in the world you live in the tools you use. Your presence is more online. So, more problems are going to crop up over there. How do you resolve that? Without just like, going out, to the courts or, to consumers, or even, if it is to mediation arbitration, that's not going to work. So let's think about, those type of issues and innovative solutions, and really transforming the way, disputes are handled. And that is the main premise of online dispute resolution. I think online dispute resolution was created just for that innovation to happen. So that's what, the younger generation really, really needs to think about and focus on.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. I think it also, makes sense that even though there are so many, I think about 28 or so ODR service providers in the country right now, if I'm correct, I think at least 20 of them are run by people who are, well, comparatively younger, from the younger generation. Because this is the need of the hour. We've all grown up looking at these systems which are not really as efficient as we would have liked for them to be. And now I think with COVID, that push towards ODR became even stronger, and more people started getting involved in it. So thank you so much, Chitu ma'am, for taking out time. I know this has been extremely helpful for me. I hope all the other listeners will also find this interesting and helpful. Any last pieces of advice or words before we conclude this interview?
Thank you so much, Mohit, for having me here. And, I really liked, what you said. The last one was like, 20 startups, are all run by youngsters. That is the hope. That is the future. So wishing everyone the very best.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, ma'am.